Uh, Hello, everybody.
Battery 100%. Connected to poolside phone.
Ham's meant to call in 1 minute, so no preamble, no time for much else. Um, I purchased one call on DJT this morning at the Open, which looks like a bad trade today. I knew it was a stupid trade because of the massive premium, massive. But I do think they're going to bounce those shares back up. Maybe not today. Maybe they know something about the election, that it's going to be Kamala. It looks like Kamala's going to steal Pennsylvania and maybe Michigan. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a battle between big and rig. Big and rig. They are rigging, but maybe we are bigging. But I think they're going to get DJT way back up. They just want all the premium today. They want all the call premium. But you would argue that they might want all the put premium, but I guess the call premiums are much greater than the put premiums. I didn't look at. I'm bored with it, but the open interest might be greater in the calls than in the puts. So they'll wipe out the premiums for the options expiring November 1 today, and then we'll see what happens Monday. The premiums are just huge, though. I bought I bought 142.5. I think might have been 143. As I was putting the order in, the price was going up, and I had very limited amount of money, so I had to put it in for whichever one. I started with the 42.5. I might have ended up at the 43s. One. Don't pluralize it. I bought one. But I did it for next Friday. And of course, the risk is a lot of that premium will disappear over the weekend. But to my memory, it cost me almost 6 points to buy that. So let's say I bought the 43. That means the stock has to go to 49 just to break even. And then if you add, sorry, that's right. It's got to go to 49 to break even. Hell of a trade, hell of a thing, killing a man. You take away everything he's had and everything he's ever gonna have. Well, Doug, I don't know if you invested, but my reaction is I want to delete you. I have never mentioned the name of that company, and I've been very clear in my lives that I cannot speak about it while they're raising money. But I guess you took it upon yourself, and what I'm getting amazed at being live is I get attacked from all sides, and then people simply cannot understand that there's rules on Wall Street. It's not all anyway. The status is, I think I'm going to be able, and I said this earlier in the week, I think I'm going to be able to have a Zoom call. Let's just talk about it. Fuck it. Why don't we just break all the rules? Um, uh, um, Let me find the research. Why keep it? Why do anything the right way? Why do anything? Why do anything with in? Why do anything within the guidelines of quiet periods? Why keep names quiet? Why not put the name right out there so the shorts can come attack it? I don't know. I really don't understand people's thought process. But Doug, good on you for coming right out. So sick of being live. I can't find the research, so I'll have to do it by memory, unless I can find it here quickly. Didn't expect a Spanish Inquisition. All right. Right, to the shorts and the bad guys, you can go look up, now that Doug has decided that the name needs to be given to you, you can go look up this company and you can try to attack it. Luckily, it does not trade, so you're not going to be able to short it. Doug, I can't find the research, so I'll just tell you about it. Ireland is a gold company which was founded about 15 years ago by a gentleman named Dr. Charles Ager. He started a gold company in California many years before that, and turned it into $160 or $200 million company. And he took his knowledge and his money and went out and developed a concept that he wanted to go after what is called invisible gold, nano gold. And I wish I could find the stupid thing so I could show you, but I can't. It may be down further on my desk. You've seen it. I've discussed it before. I've shown parts of it to you. I just can't find my file right now. He located 2 projects. He looked all over North America. He located 2 projects and he bought them. One was the Columbus mines in Nevada, and the other was the Clarkdale slag pile in Arizona. He started 2 companies and raised money. The one in Arizona, he has gone through since inception about I think $105 million. They have a plant. They have everything you need: water, power, studies, everything. But currently, that project has been sold in some form. I'm not sure of the details, to a group out of another part of the world, and so that deal is off the table, at least for the time being. The one in Nevada is the one you invested in, and as you've now told everybody, it's called Ireland Inc. I kept that name off the airwaves because Doug doesn't see it, but I think there's a lot of negativity out here and a lot of people that attack. So, but thank you, Doug. We'll see what they do with it. Earlier this year, in January of this year, Dr. Ager came to Ireland and said, "I'm ready to move forward. I can raise the money necessary, but since Ireland have been basically Ireland owns the project, he owns and has developed the technology to process this invisible gold, nano gold. Just for context, Newmont Mining and now Barrick Gold are the largest producers of gold broadly in North America. And where that gold comes from that makes them thus is the Carlin Trend. The Carlin Trend was discovered by, I don't know if it was discovered by Dr. Bill Gill, but it was discovered and owned by Newmont Mining. But this scientist, this metallurgist, Dr. Gill, and others, I think, developed a process to get the invisible gold out of the Carlin Trend. Invisible gold, nano gold, out of the Carlin Trend. And in the 60s, he was successful. The white-haired guys didn't really want to do it. He pushed ahead anyway, and it made Newmont Mining one of the largest mining companies in the world. Newmont and Barrick have a joint project at, I forget the headquarters, but it's called Gold Strike, and it's at the Carlin Trend. I don't know what city. The Carlin Trend is a huge resource, which has been under constant development since the late 60s, and it will go on and on and on for years to come. It produces gold mainly through autoclaves, which is high pressure heating at 0.03 ounces of gold per ton. 0.03 ounces of gold per ton of sand. And it's, like I say, it's invisible gold. What Ireland has is potentially, I'm just going to go to the glory side, the high side. Ireland potentially has 1 billion tons of sand, 1 billion, which currently, using sort of, I don't know if it should be called traditional, but using a standard recognized assay method, can recover 0.038 ounces of gold per ton. 0.038 ounces of gold per ton. So you can quickly see, Doug, that the natural buyer for Ireland would be Goldstrike. They're getting 0.03. Ireland can get 0.038. Now, would they do it? Is that exciting enough? That's what we're going to find out. In January, the request was, look, we've gone through 5 years of changing the process to reflect things we learned in the mid, sort of 2011 through 2013, 14. We've come up with a process which is now physics, not chemistry, he always said, but it's a process which scales, and it has worked hundreds, if not thousands of times. And now the only step left for Ireland is to go into production. So they've gone through all the research and development, all of the analysis, and now they have to go into pilot scale commercial production, pilot scale testing of commercial production. And that's what we're doing. And now, by the way, the process which Dr. Ager has developed is apparently, I don't have direct access to it, apparently does over 0.20 ounces of gold per ton recovery. And that's what's exciting. It's a leap from, let's call it 0.04 to 0.2 or better. And all we need to do is to get a pilot scale production plant up and running. Now, there is the risks of, are you fully funded? Can the project move forward if there's disappointments in the scaling up? Well, I'm 100% convinced, but I think others might be 99% convinced that the project will scale on a commercial level. So then, Doug, it comes down to funding. Now, I've said to people here, but I guess I have to be so explicit, as I was lectured to yesterday. I have to choose my words carefully. I said, Doug, as recently as last week on the gold company that people invested in, that we're in the last stages of funding. I guess I need to be specific. Many of you invested, as Doug wants everyone to know, in a company called Ireland Inc. There, specificity. And I appreciate it, by the way. I'm not, it's fantastic. I think it's the greatest investment, upside potential that I've seen in forever. I mean, it's truly incredible, because you've got the world where the mining stocks are in the ditch. Gold was in the ditch, but now gold is breaking out, but mining stocks have yet to catch up. It's brilliant. And on top of that, you've got a resource as big or bigger than the Carlin trend with a tiny company nobody's ever heard of. And Newmont was a company nobody had ever heard of. You're in the middle of this tremendous upside. So what's the risk? Financing has taken a long time. There's been due diligence done. A lot of people have kicked the tires. But Doug, of course, I'll be specific. The company has received a significant portion of the $5 million it was requesting to build out the pilot plant. And I know, because I sourced it, I know the remaining 5 million actually will exceed 5 million, is going to come in any day now. And I intended to have a Zoom call just for Ireland investors. But Doug, I guess it's fair. We should do it out in the open with everyone listening, including the shorts and the people that attack us. So thank you, Doug, for bringing it up. But the positive is, I believe the funding will be here imminently. The project is moving forward on the build out and development of the pilot plant and the processing of the material at a commercial scale level, pilot scale, commercial scale level. And I think we will hear news. I'm going to give it at least 90 days, at least 90 days. But once it's heard, it'll revolutionize the value of the company and the asset. So it's extraordinarily exciting. But expect, Doug, negativity now, because you need to put the name out to everyone, which is fine with me. It's totally fine with me. I'm going to give this live over to the collective intelligence of all of you out there, and I'm going to stop trying to control it or use any of my own thinking, because that's when I get in trouble. But I'm very excited about what I call the Little Gold Company, what you call Ireland Inc., which is what it is. I think Ireland is going to be fully funded within a week, and I would say within, let's give ourselves reasonable leeway for disappointments. Within 6 months, I think now this is my opinion. I think you're going to have some of the most exciting news you've ever had in your investing life within 6 months, maybe sooner. All right, let me call it in.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
All right, everybody. It's a tough day again. I've never seen anything like this in 24 years. The continued assault.
When does it become 25 years? It's been 24 years for 3 years.
That is 25 years. 2000. I started the fight in 2000, so 24.
All right, so at the end of 24, it'll be 25 years. Yeah.
I can get to the exact date. I think it was in February of 2000.
Okay.
That's when I first started fighting, when I first figured it out. That's when I first figured it out.
Okay.
Anyway, listen, everyone. It's disgusting what we're seeing. I don't know how to stop these attacks. It's just remarkable. You know, looking at Pat Burns' tweets, he's talking about these people trying to steal the election. It's just remarkable what they try to do. It's just remarkable. There's nothing negative at all. Trump is going to win, and these asswipes on TV are doing everything to fuel the destruction of Donald Trump and his stock. You know, he gets in, Pat Byrne wiping the street with them. Pat Byrne is consumed. Just go read his tweets on trying to stop the Obamas, Harris, all these shitheads from trying to steal an election. Okay, that's what Pat Byrne is doing. So people say, why isn't he fighting for us? Just go read what he's doing. Go read his tweets. This guy is a man of his word. They will annihilate the short sellers when Trump wins. Trump, Devin Nunes have put out statement after statement, threatening short sellers, calling the NASDAQ up, everything. Do you really think that's going away? Absolutely not. The assault down today in the last 2 days, I've never seen anything like it. Just keep sell, dropping to 3, 2, 3. Even ROOT, which was a short squeeze that no one knew about, went to 120, collapsed yesterday down to 60, which is normal. I have no complaint about that. That's the short covering, get blown out, they drop. But new shorts came in, or maybe some investors came in and started picking the bottom on it. At least it turns after the wipeout. The stocks that we follow, they don't even get, there's no air. It's like they know. There's two stocks that are going to crush them. One is Pick Motion and one is DJT. It's obvious. Finger Motion has been for sale ever since the company rang the bell, announced 2 contracts. It's been nothing but sell.
It's Monday morning, 7:30.
Sorry.
It's impossible to have this trading action ever. And the volume is dried up. So basically, no one's doing anything. Everyone's watching. But if you were short, just think about it. If you were short all the stock, what's the big deal selling another 2,000 at the market and try to knock it down? What's the difference? You're dead anyway. And that's what they're doing in Finger Motion. In DJT, it's just basically kill this company at all costs. The volume is driving up. It's only 59 million in that stock. It's dried up a lot, from 130 million shares a day. Listen, that's the key. When the volume starts drying up, they're using small amounts of stock to manipulate, trying to drive it lower to get people to sell. This is not a stock market. This is complete rigged casino here. Trump wins and all this changes. We got 3 days to go. Isn't it funny the attacks are happening 3 days before the vote? Isn't it funny all the scumbags are out saying they're going to win, they're trying to knock the stock down? Isn't it funny CNBC put a story out that Donald Trump's stock is going to $3 when Trump doesn't win? How about it's going to 500 if he does win? What did they know? All I know is I can see every rally in the country is telling you they're going to win. Unless there's some sort of crime going on behind it. So I based it on what I see and not the crime behind it. I can't control the crime. As you can see, we can't control this crime. But as an investor and as a family, and I have to protect my family, this is like war. When Trump wins, I promise I will be with Pat Byrne immediately, wherever he has to be, to hang these guys in Finger Motion. Now, I don't control DJT. I'm not involved in it. I don't own it. Okay? But I will do everything in my power to protect my family's investment in Finger Motion. And I will make sure Jeff Easton and his buddies, Bill Lavalier and all the rest of them, will have their assholes ripped wide open. I want their phone records. I want everything done with Benchmark. I want to see the short sales of Benchmark. I want to see everything. Wire transfers. I will make sure Pat Byrne gets that all taken care of for us. And you think Pat Byrne's pissed? Wait till you see me. These guys, I'm going to hang them. And they can, if he wants me, I'll say to his fucking face any day. This guy's a total scumbag and deserves to be in fucking jail for life. They're pressing they're facing life in jail. That's what they're facing. And you would do the same thing if you were stuck like they are. These guys have been running rampant for years. And now the shit's gonna hit the fan. You have the audio recording of Pat Byrne telling you what he's gonna do. We all have it. He's gonna fix the stock settlement, get the bad people out of there, and that's the last thing he wants to do in this world. And we're 3 days away from it. And the attacks are just relentless. I told you, they need to create volatility. Volatility makes everyone panic. That's what they're doing in DJT. They spiked up, pulled back down. That's how they get people. I told you, shorts need to get people. This is how they cover. They spike it up, let it drop, spike it up, let it drop. And now they're doing a complete attack, trying to drive it down. Don't get me wrong, they've been buyers. Okay, they're buyers in DJT because that's how it spiked up. But now they're trying to attack it down to flush everybody out. Remember that short squeeze trigger number was 4209, right? We got to 57, they pushed it right through 4209 again. They need to get it down there. It's over 1 billion shares short. If they bought back 100 million shares, they still got 900 million to go, 800 million, pick a fucking number. That's the activity. That's what I'm seeing in in DJT. Finger Motion, they can't create. They're trying to create volatility. There is none. Volatility has to come to the upside for selling. There is none. they know if it goes up, they're just going to hang themselves. So they're trying to create volatility by selling small amounts, trying to knock it down, so that William or me or somebody goes out and sells it. I saw someone buy 5,000 before, and they went to pay 82. They sold it to them at 81.492, whatever number it is. That was a short sale of someone buying 5,000. How do I know that? Because I know someone who bought 5,000. So these attacks are relentless. Now, William posted this morning that the CEO reached out to him and I guess is willing to have a call with him on Monday sometime. So here's the CEO of the publicly traded company willing to sit down and have a conversation and discuss things that are important for the investors. This isn't Jeff Easton and his scumbag friends posting on Twitter or using a sell button trying to knock it down. This is the CEO of the public company. He's not going to get on a call with William and lie to us, because that would put him in jail. Unlike everybody else can say whatever the fuck we want to say. So this is happening Monday. As soon as William posted it this morning, I was out for a walk. I saw it. I said, this is great news. This CEO is going to come out here and defend his company, not knowing that he was going to be attacked again. And he's going to tell what's going on. What's so negative about it? We want to know about the dividend. We want to know about the trucks, the data, whatever they're installing in that national contract for the trucks, the emergency vehicles, things like that. Who wouldn't want to know about revenue information? And the CEO is probably going to tell us everything he can. And yet these guys sell the stock off again. What was the reason to sell it off today? That the CEO is going to address the company, all the shareholders on Monday? That's why you're selling the stock down? Meanwhile, NVIDIA, just going to change the channel for a second, that SMGI, whatever that stock is that's under attack, getting killed, that did some fraudulent stuff, 10% of their business goes to NVIDIA. Well, how come they're not selling off NVIDIA? I don't know. NVIDIA is tied to this company. Everyone's posting about it. Who's buying NVIDIA and not selling it? I think that's far more damaging than anything else out there. And yet they don't sell that down. Because guess what? That is the real stock market. They wait for that information to come out. All right? The institutions won't just throw it out the window until they see something concrete. We have criminals just selling shares at the market that they don't own. Just sell it. They don't borrow it. They're just creating counterfeit shares and just selling it at the market. That's what we're dealing with. And that's what I keep trying to tell everyone. Besides finger motion, they're doing it in so many of the names that I follow. Let me just take a look for a second, William. Besides DJT, I don't know what stock that is. I don't know AMIX, MLSS, KOSS, GMGI, obviously is a piece of shit. Kodak is down. I just look at all these things that are just WRAP, RUM, Rumble, ZJYL getting hit again. All these names. MULN, Mara, Tesla, Wolf is down. The market's up $300. Every little stock that I follow is for sale. I don't own any of them, and I don't even talk about them. But I just look at them, and they've all got shorts related to their name, and they're all being pushed down. They're being pushed down because I believe that Trump is going to win, Pat Byrne's going to change the rules, and naked short selling is going to go away. And it's going to come down to stock settlement. So these guys are trying to cover their ass. Wolf has 1 billion shares short. I don't know what it is anymore. I stopped following it. Kodak, another one with 1 billion shares short. I stopped following that one for a while ago. I look at it because I know the short's still there. It may not be 1 billion, maybe 700 million. I don't know. But I just follow those names, and all these stocks have the same pattern. The same stupid sell pattern. They can never lift up. No matter what happens, the stocks never go up. Does anyone have any questions about that, William?
Yeah, I'm sure. Travis bought 5,000 more finger, but he's just going to accumulate.
Yeah, listen, this
Um,
again, they continue. Listen, people, there's only one word to describe this whole thing. And I keep trying to say it, and I know it goes in one ear out the other, and I got it. If they thought they can win, they let it go higher. What's the rush to sell it lower? I did short sales for a super famous short seller. I did it. And if I ever sold stock from 57 and shorted it, let's say I had 10 million shares to short, and I shorted it from 57 down to 30, like DJT is, okay? And my average on all the short sales went from north of 50 to maybe 34 or 35 because I'm selling so much lower. I would never get an order. I would be fired immediately, and I would never be part of that whole revenue source of income again, because that is completely against all their rules. Real short sellers want the stocks to go higher. They would have loved to sell DJT at 57, 60, 65, 7. Keep taking it. That's how real short sellers think. Don't listen to any of these people. I did it. I didn't do it for a week. I did it for many years. Let it go higher. Let it lift. Do not put pressure on it. We do not want to sell it down. We think the stock is going to fail in the third quarter. So if it's January, we don't believe we're going to see any downward pressure until August. And this is how they get in. Let the people push it up. Let the longs buy it. All the positive news. We don't care. But we want to sell it higher. This stock had a high on whatever Tuesday and a low today. I mean, it's like a hockey game. This isn't the stock market. This is a rigged casino. We're playing roulette, and the numbers we bet on or got tape on them, we never get the ball in that hole. That's what's going on here. That's completely what's going on here. What they're doing, it makes no sense. I just described to you how real shorts work. They 100% do not play the game this way. This is fraudulent short selling. These attacks are here to get you to sell. That's all it is. They're fishing around for two things. One, a stop loss order. Robert, don't ever do that again. Not that he did it in this name, but he did it in other ones. Just checking on you, Robert. They're looking for people that have stop loss orders in here, or people that bought on margin, which I don't believe anyone has bought finger motion on margin. So those are the things they look for. They're finding them in DJT for shit sure. People buy 1,000 shares on margin at $40, right? Now it's 35. You got to put up more money. Goes to 29. You got to put up more money, and that's what they're doing. They're hoping to drive people to sell because they're getting margin calls, and that's the game. It's completely fraudulent. I don't even know how to say it. I described it to you before. In Zixi, my friend did it. He bought 1 million shares at 10. They drove it down to $1. He had to sell out all his clients because they all had margin problems.
It's one good thing. That's one good thing. We don't have margin problems.
Yeah, no, we have no margin problems, and the stock shows you that.
Yeah.
The stock is showing you there is no margin problems because no one's selling it. If you just look at the time in sales, all the time in sales are all these odd lots again. I saw one 5,000 share print, and the rest of them 100, 1 share, 2 shares, the same nonsense. If I was short 230 million shares, what's the big deal of selling 200 shares at $1.80 to mark it down? You think that's going to hurt? These guys have committed more fraud than anybody. They already robbed the bank. Their faces are on the most wanted list. It's like we're chasing Bonnie and Clyde around. It's remarkable. We're chasing Jeff Easton, that fat fuck, and that other guy, Phil Lavaliere, and his 2 other women that are in the office. That's the crime family. and who Jeff Easton is working with at Benchmark and his friend in Australia and whoever's controlling the short position offshore. That's the crime family. This is RICO. These people belong in jail for life. Now, I don't know who's doing it in DJT. There's some big boys there for sure, okay? I don't know if it's Virtue. I don't know if it's Ken Griffin. I only have to assume. I don't know who the other players are there. But that's for them to find out. Our problem stemmed from a toxic note from Lynn Partners to Finger Motion. Everyone knows about it. That's where our problem stemmed from. It has nothing to do with Ken Griffin or Virtue, none of those people. This is like penny-ante stuff for those guys. There's not enough volume for Ken Griffin and Virtue to come here. There's nothing here for them. This is a penny. This is a scumbag short seller. This is Jeff Easton. That's who's doing this stuff. He farms it out to his buddies, and he walks around like he's not doing anything to do with it. But it all goes back to him because they all wanted the protection of that note. But that note doesn't exist, so now they're all trapped. And I'm sure the conversation between Jeff Easton and his friends who are short is pretty heated because now these guys are stuck in this position. You know, when the shit hits the fan, Jeff Easton's going to put his hands up there. It's not me, it's those guys. He's going to give them up.
Okay, so everybody out there, I just saw this from George. If you have an interest in GTII in Trento at 2 p.m., which just happened, you can hear on Twitter Trento Global Group speak. The CEO Michelangelo Russo will be talking. I didn't mean to go over him. We'll continue here. You can come back. This will be all available afterward. But go off this call, go to X and watch CEO Michelangelo Russo speak about Trento Group and GTII on Twitter right now.
Listen, again, the stock isn't trading. I'm sure they'll record it. We're here trying to address.
This is recorded too, so go over if you want to hear it live now. Oh, go over there.
Whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
Again, where I wait for Richard Hoffman and all those people to give us updates on it. I can't speak about it now. I can't do anything about it. It doesn't even trade. All the stuff's in motion. Let them do what they have to do. I have nothing to do with it. So I'm here trying to fight for my family, you guys, everyone here. I'm sure the company is well aware of what's going on. And like I said, Pat Burns said the short sellers were trying to disrupt his supplies, trying to shut him down. It can't happen in China. These guys can't even get into China. The people that Finger Motion has contact with in China are way up the ladder, and they're not going to fall for this shit. They don't really care. So it doesn't make a difference. The company's going to do its business. And when a company does its business, you know what? The revenue will come out, and then it'll turn. Again, these guys know the end is coming. The CEO said it a while ago. He expects profitability. Maybe it's that big truck order that does it. But we're getting closer every day. And maybe that's why the attacks are so brazen. Because what I'm seeing here is just remarkable. Remarkable. I fought many naked short battles. To see this battle at this pace, at this late in the game, is remarkable. Only tells me that these guys are so trapped and willing to do anything to get out of it. Anything. So, the CEO speaking on Monday. Look forward to it. I hope it all comes through on one Monday, William. My questions are the information. How much money does the company make on those installs in that emergency response program? And the second thing is, where do we stand on the dividend? What was the delay? Where do we stand? Obviously, I always wanted to speak about people that work at the company. How do the employees feel from these attacks? It has nothing to do with anyone that works at these companies. People who work at DJT. Where's Devin Nunes? Hey, Devin, I'm speaking to you. Get off your ass and say something. Stand up for your shareholders. I think they've been super quiet because I think it's really a trap. Now, they don't think like I do because there's going to be collateral damage. People buying options, getting killed on this thing. Okay, I don't believe in that. I believe fighting for everybody and every penny that they invested in. Obviously, you know they have to be entrapping someone because Devin Nunes is dark. He's gone dark. Just go read all the headlines that this guy put out there. This is not a guy that's going away quietly. And if you think they're going to forget, just go hit up Truth Social, Naked Short Selling, go read the headlines. We're going after short sellers. We blame the short sellers. We called the NASDAQ up. We've done everything. And now you're going to get the President of the United States on your side, and these guys are still fucking around with it? For the life of me, I've seen crazier things in my life, but this tops the cake. I could never see anything like this in my life. And because of it, there should be no mercy. No mercy when Trump gets him, when Pat Byrne gets him. There's no mercy. These people should be hung in a town square. This is a disgrace, just robbing people's money, using a loophole, trying to steal everybody's money. This has nothing to do with, we picked the wrong team, we picked the wrong number, we bet the wrong bet. This has nothing to do with that. This is just complete fraud and manipulation. And we're going to get them. And I know people that paid $2.25. A lot of people, $2.50. I know friends that paid up to $3. My daughters paid $3. I mean, many people buy it. They all understand it. They understand the stock market to be a fair place. They don't understand what I do every day. And these guys deserve. If you're trying to steal from my family, it's not going to happen. I won't stop, and I will make sure we get them. Just follow Pat Byrne. He's consumed the whole weekend. Get out there and vote Trump. Check your votes. These people changing votes, stealing, doing whatever they have to do. It's a disgrace. Anyone get caught doing anything with election fraud, they should be taken out and shot immediately. This is a complete. Everything we see is completely fraudulent. I don't know how to stop it. I'm not a political person. I'm not sitting here trying to stick politics down everybody's throat. That's not my thing. But good Lord, this is like, it's insulting as an adult male in this country. And for the people that vote the other side, these people want your kids to go to war. Everyone who votes Democrat, I'll be the first guy to drag their kids out and put them in the army and let them go fight the wars. Because I don't want my kids, my nephews, my grandkids, anyone fighting these wars for these animals. You want to vote for those people? Your kids go to war first. That's how it should be. We don't want anything to do with that. All we want is a fucking stock to settle. We can't even get that done. They think how crazy this is. Anyway, any other questions? I don't want to get involved with those other people, so.
Yeah, there was one. But if, just to re-emphasize, if you want to hear from Trento, just hang up this call, go over to Twitter right now.
Yeah, that's it.
When do things start to change after Trump wins?
It's going to happen fast.
January, February?
It's going to happen fast.
Okay.
Trump will start making statements. They're going to be bolder and bolder. Once he's the president, he can make bold statements. You got to let him win. He's got to win on Tuesday.
Donna points out that Not Legal Advice is going to do a report on GTII this weekend, so look out for Not Legal Advice this weekend. Do you think Kitteridge thinks they're going to get DJT down to 20?
No, he's wrong. They're going to get it down to $1.
No, he's not. He's actually pretty.
No, listen. There's no chart here. This isn't a chart play. It's impossible to pick a number. This is roulette.
a kit and ham. I bought one 43 DJT call that expires in a week.
I thought you were going to say in 3 minutes.
And I paid $600. I didn't pay quite that much, but basically I paid $6. Right now, the last price is $5, even though the stock is down. The premiums are out of whack. I kind of go with Kit. If it goes down much lower, maybe that's when you play the premiums. They want to take all those call premiums. Do you think there's more open interest in the calls than there are in the puts today expiring?
But what I saw the other day, there wasn't much call premium. There was a lot of call put action, but the call action. Let me just address that for 1 second for you.
Yeah.
If you were to buy a call, the $20 call, if you bought the $20 call and the stock went to 57, and you were long those calls at $1,
yeah,
those things were worth $37, $38. That's $3,800 each call.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. So I hope no one has ever done anything like that. Because once you get an option like that, I could see being caught and you bought it at $1 and they're worth, the stock runs to 30. You say, oh my God, they're 12. That's as far as I could see you letting it go. You sell those at 12. You turn or 5 or 12 or 10, and you turn around and you buy a higher strike and you buy a little bit more of them.
Right.
So if you made yourself 10,000, you buy $5,000 worth of calls at a higher strike. And this way you don't get caught up and get wiped out.
Right.
Because if you looked at it, the 50 calls were probably $8, zero. The 40 calls were $18, zero. The stock is 30. The 30 calls were $25 to $30, zero right now. That's how violent this swing has been. Swing up and swing down. Now, the SEC has created these short squeezes. No one else has created this. They have. Naked shorts get too upside down and they get caught, whatever the event may be, they get caught and this is what happens. They get roasted. This is what happens. The SEC has created these problems. No one wants to see volatility like that. Obviously, investors get caught up in it and get crushed. Think about the poor soul that went out there to buy 1,000 shares at 50 trying to support Donald Trump, and he's down now $30,000 or $20,000 over nothing, trying to support his candidate. Who in their right mind, in what country, would allow them to destroy the next president of the United States public company over a loophole, over a criminal activity? It's just amazing. What kind of country is this to allow that to happen? Besides trying to assassinate him and everything else they've done. Look what else they're trying to do. Financially, if you look at it, he's annoying them all, because when the stock went up, even though he didn't say anything about it, there's stories written that Trump is up $4 billion, $3 billion, $2 billion. He lost $2 billion. He's up $2 billion. What kind of story is that? Who would even give a shit whether he's up or down? Doesn't affect me at all. But that's just, they're trying to make a point that Trump can get wiped out here. And they're trying to do it. Is it Ken Griffin? Is it the guy from Virtue? Is it people like that are getting protection from the SEC? Getting instructions saying, hey, kill this fucking guy at all costs? I wouldn't doubt it. Something's going on like that, because it doesn't make any sense. Who would want to there's a murder scene, and these guys are putting their fingers all over it. They don't even care. Their fingerprints are all over it. Just keep doing it. They don't even care. They robbing the bank. They could care less. Could care less. Who is behind this? It's just remarkable. I wish I could say more. I don't even know what else to say. That's everything I could possibly see. What's going on in Finger is they're just piggybacking what they're trying to do to Trump. When Trump stock was going, they didn't want any momentum in this stock. Right out of the gate, they were moving it down. No momentum, no momentum. Please, momentum, you got to stop it. And I strongly believe that DJT is going to have a major run back up. I really do believe that. I think that Trump, I think he's well aware of it. I'm sure Devin Nunes, Patrick Byrne, all these people, John Tobacco, who's ripped. Hey, anybody wants to go ask John Tobacco, Wise Guys on Twitter. Hey, John, you were chirping so much about when you were calling it going up. What do you got to say about it now? Ask him his comments. John was a stock long guy. He understands the back offices better than anybody. And he was a key guy in Pat Byrne's lawsuit against Goldman and Merrill Lynch. Most people don't know about that, but go ask him about that. This guy is a key player in that game. All right? He's helped out Pat Byrne.
And I'm sure
Pat Byrne's stock went from 3 to 128.
everybody. Trust everybody.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Just
Oh.
mumbling to myself.
All right. I just heard someone talking. I don't know what was going on. I thought I missed something. But to John Tobacco, Wise Guys on Twitter, go ask him what's going on. You'll get a great feeling about what's going on with DJT because he's tied to Pat Byrne, and he can, he'll give you some answers on that. But as far as this stock has been up since they rang the bell, William, and we went to that dinner and met those investors. And there were many holders there. It wasn't just us. Right? There were many people there.
Oh, it was overflowing.
The investors that came from Asia were super excited. They thought the company achieved a major milestone, getting listed, getting everything, ringing the bell. And meanwhile, the U.S. is such a disgrace. Their thank you for getting the company to come here was to fucking steal all you can and rob everybody. That's the thank you. That's
how Adina Friedman gets her salary, in
right.
my opinion.
They're a disgrace what they've done. Disgrace. They're not the only company it's happened to. I mean, I don't know anything about MULN. You needed a lot of money, but they destroyed the whole thing. Wiped out every investor, everybody who had a dream about an electric car, people that had seen electric cars. They just killed them all. Could kill us. I'm laughing. Jeff Easton is short KNW because he has a toxic note. The company's working on some diabetic thing. He doesn't stand a chance in hell, the guy. It's going to pennies. He's going to reverse it. They're going to reverse the stock, kill all the investors like they did in SYTA. And life goes on. The company will be standing. They'll have some money in the bank. They'll be delisted from the exchange unless they do it. And it's the blueprint. That's what they do. That's what they do. And Jeff Easton and his crew, the game is coming to an end. Trump wins on Tuesday. These characters better flee the country because we're coming to get them. There's no more bullshit. We're going to have the president. We're going to have Pat Byrne, and that's all we need. And this game is going to end. These guys deserve to go to jail. Dragging them by their hair to jail. Anyway, on a brighter note, the company's speaking to William on Monday. Hopefully everything goes okay. We'll get our answers. Please come up with questions. I have my questions. How do employees of the company feel that they're working very hard, giving up years of their life, all right, to have a company work and to lose all their potential over a security fraud in the United States? Think about that. Think about that. You're an employee. You're a public company. The employee company is CVM, of Peloton. Remember the attacks on Peloton? They went after her, or the girl that rode the bicycle. They killed that whole company, Peloton, because some lady put her baby on the back of a treadmill. Think about that. That was the company's fault. Boeing's planes, the doors are blowing off and their tires are falling off the plane. Yet that company's still $160. Peloton, they killed it. There was a national craze. Everyone was buying Peloton bikes, riding their classes. They destroyed the whole thing. We don't need that. Kill that. It's a bicycle. Who gives a shit? That guy set up a whole new craze. Put that business plan down because we're the short sellers. I'm Andrew Left, and my friends want this stock dead. And they killed it. They did it to Beyond Meat. The company was making some new, I don't believe in it. They were making some new, some new, whatever, meat, whatever the hell they were doing. Stock ran up to $250, kill it. They were getting contracts. Some people wanted the alternative meat. Kill that idea. It's not good. They made a decision for everybody. The short sellers think they're fucking Julius Caesar. They decide who lives and who dies. Jeff Easton decides who lives and who dies. Jeff Easton. Think about that for a second. That's who we're going against. He's not getting away. I will not stop. I will go to DC myself, and I will make sure that his name is the first name that comes out of every lawmaker's mouth looking for a criminal. And he can't stop me, and I don't give a shit. His phone records, benchmark, they're all going to give each other up. When the shit hits the fan, and Finger Motion was introduced to Benchmark, Benchmark is who gave them Finger Motion to Lynn Partners. Go look at K&W. Who introduced K&W to Lynn? Benchmark. How do I know? Benchmark is doing deals with them too. These guys work together. You go in the door, you need money. The minute you ring their phone, they're selling their stock short. I wouldn't doubt if Benchmark was doing it ahead of Lynn, trying to get some free money out of it. That's how these guys work. Any other questions?
How does Finger sometimes show an ask of $8 after hours?
Because no one's listen, after hours, and pre-market is, most 99.99% of people, I have no interest in those markets either. I don't even look at them. The only reason I look at it is try to update you on what they're doing when they're playing games. Most people do not play in the pre-market or aftermarket. So if the offer is $8, that's because, hey, when you see it offered at $8 and the stock is, closed at 2 2.25, go out there and offer it at $7. You could go on your platform, and you go out there and try to sell 1,000 shares at $7. Maybe you sell it at $7, you can buy it back at 2 1/4 if you're lucky. But there's no one taking any stock. It's make believe.
What's your target for MLSS?
I just told you I gotta wait for I gotta see what the news is. I told you my friend said it was going to 10. He said it's going to 10 on fundamental news. They have some big contract with the government over epidurals. The news, you can read the news that's out there, about the epidurals that they have. I think that most women who give birth around the world use an epidural. I think it's a pretty big thing. But no, the short sellers don't give a shit. Epidural, kill the fucking wives. I don't care. Kill my wife. I don't give a shit. Let the baby die. I don't care. No one cares.
Jim wants to know, is there any update on the Finger warrant dividend?
Yes, Jim. Is that Jim?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim. Monday, when William asked the CEO, he's going to say to Martin Shen, hey, Martin, what's the update on the Finger dividend special warrants? That's when we'll get our update, because I don't know. I fought for it because I know that's how you get these guys and expose them and get them in trouble more. But a public company, they just changed their auditor, and I spoke to many people, no one at the company, but there has to be something related to that, where it's a slowdown because of the changing of the auditors, they get approval to get up to speed. I don't know. So we'll see on Monday. I don't know. We can't figure it out, because if it was the SEC, and Jim, I'm not being sarcastic, if it was the SEC and it was something negative, the public company would have to make a statement and say, hey, the SEC shot down our idea.
That's a good point. I've heard from another CEO that the SEC is like the World Bank. Things over there are
move like a snail. No, I wouldn't doubt that. I could do it too.
LOW.
Listen, everyone's getting paid. I look up every day. I go to sec.gov. I get enforcement actions every day. I go at 4 o'clock. And there's some days, if you go look at it now, there's one person charged with violating of insider trading. How are they not grabbing these naked short sellers? There's boatloads of them. They're all over the place. They're like shit. They're all over the place. They can't find one of these guys to prosecute. Not one. Because it's a hard prosecution. These guys are moving positions around from account to account. It's like, it's like a shell game, a 3-card Monte game with these guys. You could see them washing trades, moving it from one account to the other. They make it sound like you're selling it, I'm buying it, we're doing all this crazy stuff. It's at the end of the day, if you stop trading and just hit up the longs, what happens? You get MMTLP, correct? So there's your answer. When they get exposed, look what happens. The world's going to end.
Kit points out that DJT, they don't halt it on the way down. He's worried about that.
Oh, when that thing starts running, those shorts are in such a panic, they don't know what to say. They're in a panic because it's like a freight train. They don't know what to say because there's 50 guys short. 14 of them are in a panic trying to cover, and the other people can't stop it. So they probably praying for a halt, so those people can catch their breath and stop panicking.
So Jim points out that it's been 9 months on this dividend. Can the SEC still reject it? Seems like it should have been a basic slam dunk review and approval.
I agree with them on that. I just tried to press to get my legs straight from this knee surgery. Ugh. I need a piece of wood to bite into.
Why don't you go jump off the diving board, see what happens?
I can't go in the water. I'm not allowed to go in any body of water. I'm not allowed to go in a pool, a hot tub, or the ocean.
Yesterday, the finger ass jumped to $10 USD by 1,000.
So if you see it jump like that, jump in there and sell 1,000 shares at 9. Go to your computer, your platform.
Well, he said the ask. I don't know if he could.
The offer. That's the offer.
All right.
The offer.
All right. So, doubt he could have sold anybody.
Listen, people. Listen. I was trained in old school Wall Street. We call it the bid and the offer. That's how you do it. You take the offer when you want to buy the stock, and you hit the bid when you want to sell it. That's how we speak. When people reverse those things on me all the time, I get flustered. I don't even know what the hell you're saying. But when you want to buy the stock, you're going to put a bid out there for it. When you want to take the offer, you say, I'm going to take the offer. I'm going to take what stock is for sale. I'm going to take the offer. You don't say, I'm going to hit the ask. That's that moron Jim Cramer would say that.
Or me.
People got trained. Oh, I'm going to hit the offer. Hit the offer for what? What are you talking about? You take the offer. That's how it works. That's the proper way to say it.
Is this a perfect time to hit the offer for DJT?
Yes. DJT, I for the life of me, I thought today, based on my conversation with William this morning, looking at the premiums and the calls, I said, these guys are going to try to come back and scoop this thing up. All right? It's still 230.
Who would want to be long, I mean short, sorry, but long or short, I was going to say. Who would want to be short DJT over an election weekend if for some reason all of a sudden all the polls show and the early voting shows that every single one of the 7 states is going to Trump? This thing could be $70 on Monday.
Right. That's what listen, I got it. The stock was 57. What did I say to do at 57, William? What did I say on the whole way?
I think you said buy all you can. Keep piling in. No, you said sell, and if you really want to be involved, get some calls. But you said get out.
That's it. Get out.
You said get out.
Because the spike was too crazy. You gotta take your profit and lock it in.
That's a
You can
rip.
go
You
back
said
in.
sell the rip.
You can go back in, use less money, and because I said the easy money has been made. This is the hard part now. Just like any stock that squeezes, the hard part comes after the squeeze. Trying to catch the falling knife is not easy. It's great when you can catch the falling knife, like in Root down to 65 and it bounces back up to 75 or whatever it did today. That's the bounce, right? Do I think Root's a buy? Absolutely. I know nothing about it. I know it was a big shorted stock. I know it's been destroyed. And the short got squeezed from 40 to 120. 40 to 120. So people think that short squeezes don't happen. 40 to 120. Longs do not chase stocks like that. Those are short squeezes. No fun. If I called up a hedge fund, if I called up Stevie Cohen and said, hey, Stevie, I love the stock Root. It was 40. Because where is it? 120. It's up 80 today. You would hear Dow tone. They only want to buy it before. No one wants to buy it when it's moving like that. So DJT, to me, based on my conversations with the best hedge funds in the world, this is where they start buying. From 35 down, you can't pick the bottom. This stock is under complete attack. You can see the volume float up. It's not 100 million anymore. It's 50-something million. It's already cut in half. And I do believe that most of the volume you're seeing is this algorithms going back and forth all day. They buy it at 30.5, they sell it 30 going back and forth, and that's what you get in that volume in. We don't have that algorithm. We got a bunch of stooges someplace in offshore somewhere that are just trying to manipulate the stock. We don't have those algorithms. If we did have the algorithms in here, I know how to go get the algorithms to go start playing here. But that's above everybody's head and pay grade for sure. There's groups of people that do that. So if you don't think that happens, my friends, it happens all the time. It's a very expensive game to play that game. Let's say that the SEC knows all about it, but that's not my business. I'll stay out of that one. We have a ma and pa stock. You buy it, you sell it. We have people buying it, nobody's selling it, and someone's counterfeiting shares that knock it down. They don't want to sell it. They want to sell it with the most damage they can inflict on anybody. That's what we're dealing with.
Apparently, according to Pete, Robinhood sent out margin calls for DJT. So I guess that.
Yeah, they're making people dump the stock. That's what
right. They forced.
And who's scooping it all up? The short sellers.
Yeah. And Robinhood is totally a pressure valve, a release valve for the shorts. Robinhood's just I don't know why people deal with them. I guess they have a nice app. I don't know.
Well, that idiot, Ryan Cohen, I told him to open up a brokerage account. And he would be the king of brokerage accounts. There was a story the other day, and you can probably Google it. Interactive Brokers, the CEO was on CNBC, and he was concerned about margin lending. That was his concern. And it was directly related to GameStop. Not GameStop, DJT, excuse me. So people are borrowing money to buy in a margin. They're lending it to you, right? They're the lender. And if you get blown out, they have liability, Interactive Brokers. And he's a scumbag too, that guy. He got busted for naked short selling. He knows all about it. You go watch his videos on GameStop. He talked about the system almost breaking. Meanwhile, he's at $156 stock. And his stock never goes down, no matter what he says or what he does. $153, up $1.17. The year high is what, 154. He's like, I think he just made a new high, whatever. Think about that. Jefferies brokerage firm, new high. Goldman Sachs just goes up every day. No big deal, another 3 points. Everybody else, If you're making a heart valve or a cancer treatment or a diabetes treatment, no one cares. They short everything except the brokerage stocks. So the key is open a brokerage firm. You open a brokerage firm, you control your own destiny. People, if you have your customers buying stock, if he had people buying GameStop at his brokerage firm, anyone who doesn't deliver, Ryan Cohen can just turn around and say, okay, we got 1 million shares of fails to deliver from our clients who purchased the stock, buy them in. They sold it to us at 20, make them pay 23 today, buy them in. And that's what he can do as a brokerage firm, the owner of a brokerage firm. The good old boys club will hate him, but that's how you take control of the system. He has $5 billion. He's a complete bozo clown if he doesn't do this. Which tells me that the only reason he's still doing this stuff is that he's going to raise more money and stick those people again. Because if he really wanted to change the world, he would definitely do what I just gave you the instructions to do. He wipes them all out. And then finger motion people can go buy that stock at his brokerage firm. And he would buy them in every day. He had $5 billion. His stock would never go down again. Every public company stock would be moving their shareholders over there. Buy your stock at GameStop brokerage house. Why? Because they don't let stocks stay unsettled. They buy them in. That's all you need to do, and it's over with. And he's a perfect guy. He's got the money. He's got the crazy fan support, the shareholder support. Perfect place. And once he does it, every public company will say, hey, let's do our business with GameStop brokerage firm. It'd be the biggest thing ever. But you know what? Who knows if someone's holding him back from doing that stuff? I don't know.
Annette says that Devin has an interview on Truth Social this week, and he says the company is strong with a cash balance.
Yeah, that'll make a difference. Yeah, the company's strong. We're doing this. He needs to say one thing. When Donald Trump wins, we're going to send him out, and we're going to get to the bottom of this counterfeiting of the shares of short selling. We're going to get to the bottom. That's all he has to say. 1 minute interview. Devin, what do you think is going to happen? Oh, when Mr. Trump wins, we're going to get to the bottom of naked short selling. We're going to follow the sell tickets, and anyone selling shares illegally is going to go to jail. They're going to go to jail. They're going to go to jail for life. I'm going to be RICO charges. We're going to take away all their assets. Hey, good luck. Have a good day. That's what I would say. 3 minutes. Well, you can't do that. Oh, yes, we can. And that's what's going to happen. That's all he has to say. Every stock will have a different look. The economy will take off. Retail investors will get back their stolen money. People will make money. People will spend money, and the economy will boom. Instead, we got a half-assed economy where everything is related to NVIDIA. Apple, NVIDIA, Goldman Sachs. That's it. Everybody else's stock is trash. We'll have no cancer treatment, no diabetes treatment, nothing for anything. Just that we're all going to have NVIDIA chips. We're going to fuck those things on. Listen, you know how I feel. We're not going away. I can't speak up for Donald Trump. I do know Pat Byrne, Devin Nunes. These guys need to grow a pair of balls and start speaking up. Because they just basically watch their own families, everyone, their own employees, all just get raped. Just got robbed, raped. They can help destroy companies, destroy morale. Hey, I just hired a couple of people. I gave them stock options at $35. Oh, yeah, the stock is 57. They're all thrilled. They're all happy. Oh, it's 30. They all got wiped out. Now you're all working for your salary. Instead of making $150,000 a year, you were getting $60,000 in salary. You're going to get a bonus with your options. But they're all worthless now. So basically now you're working for $60,000, and basically it becomes a death spiral because employees don't want to work for $60,000 if they have any kind of talent, and they want to go work somewhere else. And you got to start over again. That's how they destroy companies. They do it all the time like that. Anyway, William, I have to go attend an event, and I have to go get myself ready and travel. But listen, everyone, we'll see you on Monday. If I hear any news over the weekend, I'll let you know. but nothing's changed. The only thing's got stronger, and this is what you see. These are the attacks you see when you get close to hell. This is what it is. Nothing else I could say to that. When you get close to hell, when you get, what is it, from the Lord of the Rings, when you get close to center Earth, but I forget what it is, Middle Earth, and you got to fight the demons. This is it. This is what we have. But we're not backing down. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Have fun down there. All right. I didn't pick the time for this call. And in fact, after yesterday, I wasn't going to go live at all. But Ham wanted to do it just now. So I'll keep going right now. You know, there's some questions here I'll try to answer, and we can go back to other things that people have talked about. But I reiterate that you can go over to the spaces on Twitter and you can listen to CEO Russo of Trento Mines speak about GTII. That's live right now, question and answers. And I'm sure there'll be a recording of it. There is a recording of this. So I did not know the timing of that, but I also didn't pick the timing of this either. There was no intent on my part to overspeak his presentation. And in fact, I think you should go listen to it. Yesterday, for 2 or 3 days in a row, I was asked questions about GTII, and they can be summarized by sort of, is it going to be trading again? Are they going to be able to put an asset in there? Can there be a short squeeze? Are things going to happen quickly? And I suppose naively tried to give my answer based on my experience over the years, including my experience with a bankruptcy for a company, which I funded the company, but I also funded the bankruptcy process as long as I could. So my experiences may be coloring my answers, but I'm not an attorney. I'm not a receiver. I'm not a whale. And I think with GTII, what's lucky for everyone, for all of us, is the whales are committed to making this work, whatever that final definition of making it work means. And they're really working hard to go after wrongdoing here. I've learned now over the last couple of weeks that there is no room for quiet messages when I go live. I've got to be explicit because people don't understand. On Wall Street, there's information, and as a broker or as a financial advisor, as a wealth manager, if you have what's called either inside information or material information, you can't share it. You can't share it. And but then the gray area comes. Well, if you're building a position, you're talking to people, you get a sense that people are buying, you can talk about that. So from now on, I'm going to be explicit. No suggestions. Just be explicit. And if I know something or don't know anything, but it's in an area where it could be presumed that maybe I do, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to imply anything. I'm not going to say anything. Everything's going to be explicit. I'm going to be just retail on every idea, and that's fine with me. And then on the company that a lot of you, I think, are very fortunate to have invested in, there's still risk. Maybe I won't do a Zoom call. I'll just do it out in the public with everybody that did not invest in it. Everything transparent, everything out in the open, everything said to everybody. There's no subtlety. We will act as if there are no enemies on these calls, that there aren't people trying to do us harm. We'll just assume everybody's honest. And anyway, so yesterday in particular, I stepped in it when I was asked about this. And the basic question that I was trying to answer is, how quickly is it going to be quick? Basically, I'm using my own words. And my answer was no. And I emphasized, and I'm not going to go read it again. There's a filing. There's two definitions of the assets that they're going to go after in GTII. I'm not going to read again. I don't want to cause any more trouble. But I was trying to describe the motive that I thought, from a lot of different standpoints, would drag it out for a long, long time. I don't want to say that anymore. I think the whales want to get it done quickly. I think the whales have a strategy. I think the receiver is honest. I think the Richard Hoffman, as I said prior to yesterday, as I've said over and over before, and JR, I think they are 100% on your side. I think Richard Hoffman is honest, full of integrity. He's an avenging angel. He's he's doing the Lord's work, trying to help you. I don't think there's a single motive on Richard Hoffman's part that isn't to help you and me. So anyway, enough on that. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to try not to talk about GTII anymore. Even though that was something that we talked about here all the time, I'm going to try not to talk about it anymore. I'm no longer an expert on GTII in any sense of the word. You've got to get your information from the receiver and from Richard Hoffman, two guys who are honest, and perhaps the company will make announcements. You can also follow court filings. In terms of what happens legally and what the whales are doing, I have no information that can help. So I'm going to stop talking about it. I meant no harm. I mean no harm. And I'm just going to stop talking about GTII. I'm very interested in the gentleman here with the G that says that Northwest Biosystems might go to 25. I think Northwest Bio, to me, is going to make your money when it's purchased by, I don't know, by Gilead Sciences or by Johnson and Johnson. You know, they'll overpay. They'll ignore the price of the stock, and particularly if there's a bidding war. So that's exciting to hear that from. It's really NWBO. Nixie had some news today. I can talk about news, and we can go over the news. I do want to call out, we can talk about it, but Collective Audience, the CEO there did not do a reverse split. He said, screw the NASDAQ. I'll go over the over-counter and I'll continue my battle there. I think we have to continue to pay attention to him and give him great credit for doing that. He did not create the deal with those losers at Aubrey Advisors and the losers at Chadron Financial. As you know, everything I say on here is my opinion, and I often say the wrong thing without meaning to. And as someone said to me yesterday, I have to learn to choose my words more carefully. So let me be clear about something else. In a lot of my summaries of things, I'll say Goldman Sachs. I say Goldman Sachs as a representative of all those banks and concentrations of capital. Sometimes I say the lawyers. I'm talking about the lawyers who represent uh, the hedge funds and the the Jeff Eastons and the Kramers. That's what I mean. But rather than going through every name, I just say the lawyers because I don't always remember the name of each of the firms. If I need to be specific, I guess I'll start writing down a list and just reading it off. And instead of saying Goldman Sachs, I'll say Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab, uh, uh, Citadel, SAC, uh, um, that group out of Boston, Vanguard, and State Street. I'll just have a list, and then it'll be clear. I won't just use a summary. Um, uh, where I'll try again this year to give you a list of stocks that might get a benefit from the January effect. It didn't work last year, but it might work this year. I'll try to have a list. You can come up with them yourself, but it's a lot of your ideas are better than my ideas on how to make money. All right. There's a couple of articles on gold and silver. This INDO that Kit mentions, INDO, I like that stock. I should try to do a report on that. Okay, and then somebody asked me here, did I say Monday? I do not have a scheduled interview with Martin Shen of Finger Motion for Monday. That's our target. We're going to try to do something Monday, but if it's delayed, it'll be for good reasons, and it'll be later in the week. I'm pretty sure it'll be sometime during the week, although that's not 100% definitive either. We just have to play. Not everything is in his control, but his aim, my aim, is to do an interview on Monday, and that gives us something to look forward to. So let me see some of your questions. Trento's contacts that were mentioned further up in this chat lead to information that is simply not serious to any investor in a mining company. Sorry to write a message on that. It's, hey, I'm neutral, no comment, but do due diligence first. I agree with you, Peter. You gotta do the due diligence. I personally, I'm not going to say anything, but let me just read to you. From the OTC markets, understanding the expert market. What is the expert market? The over-the-counter markets group operates the expert market as a distinct market tier for a small number of companies. And then it expanded to include companies in the changes under Rule 15C2-11. So it includes companies that do not make current information publicly available. Quotes in the expert market, stock quotes, bid and ask, will be unsolicited only. Unsolicited only. This means broker dealers may use the expert market to meet their best execution responsibilities under FINRA rules and publish unsolicited quotes representing limit orders from retail and institutional investors who are not affiliates or insiders of the company. So they don't have to, they can publish your limit order, but they're not doing a bid and an ask. Quotations in the expert market securities are restricted from public viewing. Only broker dealers and professional or sophisticated investors are permitted to view quotations in the expert market securities. Despite the restrictions on who can view quotations, the expert market does not impose restrictions on who can trade. Rule 15C211 governs a broker's ability to submit, publish, or distribute quotations in OTC securities. The rule does not apply to the transactions or the ability of the investor to buy or sell. So, I mean, it's the perfect nightmare world for you. You're allowed to trade if your brokerage firm says, but you have no idea what the bid and ask. And they narrow it to professionals and sophisticated investors. I don't know if they let criminals and naked short sellers in, but I'm guessing those are part of the sophisticated and professional category. So the expert markets offers a regulated trading venue where broker dealers can satisfy their best execution obligations. It offers insight into activity which would otherwise be hidden in the opaque gray market. This is whatever. So if you trade on the expert market, it's like, I don't know what I can compare it to. It's like an innocent girl getting off a bus in Hollywood with $10 in her pocket, hoping to make it big in movies. It happens, but I wouldn't count on it. All right, let me see what else. Now, I'm not going to talk about NICs, but I can talk about their news. I can talk about that. Let me see if I can find it. I still read that as a big, big number. Hang on, guys, just 1 second. Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. That was good information, but I can't share it with you. But it was good information. Let me go here. So it's the value of assets plus stock and securities. I don't know. I actually think I read that correctly, but let's, Susan, let's go here. Let's go here. I'm just looking for the news. Here it is. Right now, Susan, just a second. Let me make sure I can see you guys. I need a producer. I need a wife. I need a life. I need a lawyer. I need a puppy dog. I need a puppy dog. All right, so let's see, lucky boy. Let's see what we can do here. Turn this down. He's getting so old. He's getting so old. I wish I could hug him. He doesn't let me hug him. Okay. All right. Okay. So Susan, sorry, it took so long. This is the news that came out on Nix today, Friday, November 11th. And it's got some good stuff in it, and I can talk about that. For sure, I can talk about that. And we can go through the charts on some of these. So they're providing an update on acquiring Just Got to Have It, which is a clever name because it describes what the business is. Okay, so Nixie's focus is to acquire businesses which will be transformed by digital AI, basically. So this company is in the wholesale gifts industry. They rely on outdated sales technology and a 30-year-old sales application tool. So this acquisition represents an opportunity for Nixie to enhance efficiency and growth potential in the gifts sector through technology. The market size of the gift market is $25 billion annually, the wholesale gifts market. And they're going to use the next generation order system, AI basically. Now, this isn't necessarily massive, but they've got positive revenue and positive profit. Now, if you gave this a multiple like Nvidia, wow, but it's not going to get a multiple like Nvidia, but it easily could get a multiple based on its growth rate projections, which we don't know right now. But that's positive. It's going to have cash flow and earnings. The closing will be in January of 2025. Okay, so they also announced that the Cognos Group spinoff, the record date is November 15th. So that's a couple of weeks away. If we're still in it at that time, and I'm not saying one way or the other, you qualify for shares if you own it as of November 15th. I don't quite understand the mechanics of this, but 75% of basically insiders agreed to not accept this dividend, which I take as a positive for the rest of us. So the growth strategy for people who want to own this in the long run, they have a 36-month plan to achieve $1 billion enterprise value. Obviously, they're going to use AI where it can help. They're going to seek to acquire businesses with 10 million to 100 million a year in annualized growth profit. In revenue. This is it up here. Projected revenues between 10 million and 100 million. And with high profit margins of 40%. AI. This is very interesting here. They've got the licensing agreement with GoLogic, which, is how it comes from recruiter.com, and it's originally GoLogic. That's the Radix AI platform, which I don't know how to value any platform over another. So that's the news on Nixie, Susan. And I think it's good. We can go through some charts. Look at this. Gold is $27.50 almost. Crude oil $69. Occidental 49, Wolf 625, Chevron 136, Nvidia 135. Collective audience up to 72 cents. I don't know why someone asked me that one. Logic is up today at 0.0196. Franco Nevada, that's also a player in Nevada, along with Barrick and Newmont. Top loser today, DJT. I think it's going to turn around. I agree with Kit that playing call options in it is a mug's game. But I did it. I bought one. Overpaid as usual, whenever I do. Keep in mind, I'm better than anyone else. And gosh darn it, people like me. Much respect to you. Well, thank you. I always feel like crap afterwards when I screw up. But thank you, Julie. I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I think um, I wrote it down here to mention, which I didn't before. Lots of times when Ham gets talking, I can't finish my thoughts. And then, but I don't trust anybody, Julie, in this space. I did, you know, I, when I was, when I went through life, knew everybody. I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of acquaintances, and you know, you probably couldn't find anybody who would say a bad thing about me except for the boyfriend who missed out on the girl. But uh, I think one of the mistakes when I left. Well, anyway, I don't want to go too deep in everything, but as I've shifted through it and I look back, one of the mistakes I've made in the last couple of decades is trusting people and trusting that people come to you in this Wild West and they have the same integrity as people I might have worked with at Merrill Lynch or gone to college with, or came out of my close family of origin, I guess you call it. And it's just not the fact. There's people out there that want to steal from you, and in this space, it's everywhere. And there's so few people I trust, um, uh, but there are some I do, and I think I've said that. There are some, and there's the gentleman who works with the whales for GTII. I totally trust him. There's the Richard Hoffman. I totally trust him. I believe the receiver is an honest guy. Uh, Busy Brands, I'm not so sure. I mean, can you really trust him? No, I'm kidding. I trust Busy Brands. I trust Junk Savvy. And then I trust other people who I hear negatives about, and I don't want to hear the negatives because I've made my own decision. But I guess I just want to tell you that I think in this space, the best strategy is to expect that the shorts have corrupted everyone you're talking to. Anybody that comes to you that you don't know, that your mother didn't introduce you to, and even then you got to be careful. You got to assume they work for the shorts. And that's my approach. And I know it's bad, and I'm not comfortable with it. But I feel like if I can do the best job here, that whatever it is I'm doing, I've got to assume everybody on the short side is trying to infiltrate and control the outcome. Anyway, and when I make a mistake, it really isn't intentional. And I know it becomes personal. I don't mean it to be. I don't know everybody here. I don't. Anyway, let's move on. I got to be careful because a dividend day could be enough to in a just to pick a stock, a dividend date, a record date could be enough to cause a squeeze. But I don't think it's sufficient all by itself. But yes, it could do it. And it's, 2 weeks away? I guess I'd have to say, like my mother used to tell us, we'll see. When Patrick Burns gets in charge, he will enforce stock settlement. Virtue and Goldman and others. I hope so. Patrick Burns was burned by the criminals, and I think it's the informing event of his adult life. I think he battled cancer. I don't know, and he battled a honeypot from the Soviet Union, and I think he wants to be, according to him, on a farm. But my guess is before he leaves this planet, he'd like to do something good. And I think this will be what it is. I really love, Bryant, that Donald Trump is going to put RFK in charge of what he calls women's health, our children's health, our health, with all, he's going to be in charge of all these agencies. And if you apply that to the financial markets, things are coming. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm reading all sorts of corruption in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona. I don't think they're going to let Trump be president. I'm going to go live Tuesday night. Probably it'll just be me and two other people, I'm sure. But I'm going to watch the election with whoever wants to. I don't want to go to the bars. I don't drink anymore. And this is a blue area. So if I were to cheer, the whole bar would turn around and probably start throwing their hankies and their napkins at me. Stop that. But I hope Patrick Burns does it. Miles, I'm on board and believer, but so nervous that if Trump loses, Dems. Well, just to keep it short, I think if Trump wins, Hillary and all those honest people will come out and say that Russia interfered with the election. And it will start a campaign from mostly women in power, but some men who will go after Trump in the courts, and they'll do it every single way they can. So I think what will be important is the House. And if the House somehow stays in Republican control, which I think is unlikely, but if the House stays in Republican control, the lobbyists will purchase 6 or 12 rhinos, and I think the House will vote that under, I think it's Amendment 14, that Donald Trump is an insurrectionist. You know that Liz Cheney, who I think is stupid, ignorant, but she did a biased, malevolent, manipulated investigation of the corruption around the stealing of something in 2020. Now, not only was her investigation like a kangaroo court, when she was done, she destroyed the evidence. But hey, that's democracy. Remember, democracy dies in darkness. So trust Liz Cheney. Anyway, I think what's going to happen, Miles, and if he makes it that far, they're going to, because of her investigation, they're going to call him an insurrectionist and that he does not qualify to be president. And then the House is going to elect the next president of the United States. Another thing is we could be at war before Tuesday. And I guess Netanyahu has to decide, is it better to have Trump or better to have Kamala, who apparently, by the way, is partly, I think, a Syrian Jew in her in her family tree. Not anything wrong with that, but she ain't black, I'll tell you that. Um, uh, that might be, war might be the other, and then maybe something awful could happen. But I don't think they're going to let Trump be president unless it's too big and unless it just overwhelms. So, Miles, let's be optimistic. What I think could happen uh, Tuesday night, Virginia goes for Trump. Virginia goes for Trump. New Hampshire goes for Trump. And possibly Georgia and North Carolina both are the corruption doesn't matter and they go for Trump. And boy, then I think we might be okay. But it's going to be a battle between big and rig. That's just the way it's going to be. Well, no, go with Ace. Here, where is it, Aaron? Go with Ace. Go listen to Ace. I don't think Ace wants me on there with him, but go listen to him. Maybe I can link his live here for part of it. But I'm not trying to compete with Ace. I just, if 10 people come here, that's fine with me. We can talk about it. We can go back and forth. I'm going to watch it anyway. I'd rather watch it with my friends and my extended family than just yell at the walls. But I'll tell you, Aaron, one thing. After this election, if Kamala wins, we all have to zip our mouth. This is going to be the most communist, Orwellian, not Nazi in the definition of Nazi, government married to business and journalism world that we're ever going to see. And our freedom to speak is going to be gone. And if you speak out, it could have cost you in your career, in your banking, in your access to loans, maybe even your freedom. And so if Kamala's president, it's going to be the fairest election we've ever seen. It's going to be democracy, and it's going to be great because she's a woman, and finally America has broken that barrier with a black woman. She's not even a black. I wonder if she's a woman. She is a shapeshifter. But anyway, if she wins, no more negative, because for me, particularly as an older white guy, straight, and I don't have a woman next to me, I'm at risk. I'm at risk, and that I think so will others be. If I was trying to answer the question before, if Trump wins, let's say Tuesday night, I think there will be rioting. They're already boarding up buildings here, but I think it'll be financed by George Soros and others. It'll be Antifa, maybe Black Lives Matter, if that still exists. They stole all the money. I don't know if it even still exists. But the democracy crowd will riot. It'll be scary. If Kamala wins, I think Republicans nothing will happen. Nothing. But I wouldn't take that as a sign she got away with it. I would imagine the first state in the country that might secede is Texas, but it might be one of the others. But I think you'll start to see a collection of Republican states leave the United States if Kamala is. It won't be civil, it won't be fighting in the streets, but it'll break up our country because they're not going to want um, to fight in her wars. They're not going to want basically an airhead who was promoted under false pretenses, and men always advanced her past her abilities. She was willing to do some things. She's willing to lie, willing to write a biography that's false. I don't think these states are going to want to operate under her. And if it becomes clear that the voting system is so bastardized that Democrats are always going to win, I don't think our country will stay together. And I don't think men and women from the South and the West will want to serve in the forever wars. I don't think Texas will want to continue financing New York and Chicago and Massachusetts. I that's what I see. If Kamala wins, it'll be a quiet, a sizzling, silent quiet out there, but it'll be a prelude to a division of our country. Our country will split up. If Trump wins, we have a chance, and I think there will be violence in the streets. Where does it go? I don't know. I also think they'll try to use a lot of ploys to get rid of Trump. Then maybe we have J.D. Vance. If it went into the House, who would the House vote for? I'll give you my answer. Nikki Haley. To get those rhinos to go with getting rid of Trump, I think it'll be Nikki Haley. And that's a scary thing too, because she's a neocon. And she's an airhead too. She's a total airhead. Not all women are airheads, by the way. It's just these two nightmares. Who else could it be? Liz Cheney, maybe. AOC, maybe. Hillary, there could be a real coalescing around Hillary for one term, and then it would be her vice president the next term. Anyway, I think we're a long way from this election being over with, and I'm so nervous that it won't be Trump. There's news stories out there that internal polling in the Trump organization has Republicans scared. There's news stories out there that Kamala is leading in the polls. And Kamala doesn't do any work. I think she knows she's going to win. In quotes. So anyway, let's get off of mothers. I didn't listen to it, not Terry, but that wasn't intentional. But I wasn't going to go live today after my disaster yesterday. I tried to answer some questions, which I thought I was answering about timing and whether or not something could happen quickly. And I think I read things reasonably well, but apparently it really, I was told to shut the F up and just let other people handle GTII. It's fine. And I have no problem with that. Uh, uh, I've tried to stand in on GTII as it's turned to shit because I feel like that's what one does. But I've been asked to just let others handle it. So fine. But I didn't mean to. Can I answer this one more time without causing trouble? I do not see a quick resolution of GTII. Now, I'm not privy. It may be that the whales, in conjunction with the receiver and in conjunction with Trento or somebody else, can put a whole package together and it can get through. But I don't know what Reichman will do. I don't know what the shorts will do. I don't know what the court will do. And who the hell am I? Who cares about what I know? Exactly. But I don't see anything quick. That's all I was trying to answer yesterday. All of it. And I got off into I don't trust anyone, which I just tried to explain again. And I guess I stepped on toes that I didn't intend to at all. And I don't now. But we are up against a systemic stealing that is on an industrial scale, and it has the sheriff, the marshal, the city council, the newspaper, the Twitter, the Tiskerati. It has everybody on their side. It's got one lone gunman comes in, like Richard Hoffman fighting, and no one else. No one else. And then you got Ham the Kid willing to come in, and that's about it. Anyway, what did I think about the call? I didn't hear it. There were some comments up here, and other people can make comments. I'll read them out. I think I know the CEO. I think he's sincere. I think he's honest, and I think he's got tremendous energy. He's put a lot of money and effort and time into this. So I wouldn't count him out. I would not count him out. I also think he's a guy that is willing to not make all the money on his side of the table so that you can make, and I can make at least our money back, or if not, much better than that afterwards. So I respect him very much. Well, it's interesting, Vincent, a woman that anyway, I've known a long time. She made the comment to me about a year ago. Why not just invest in managed money, or put your money in a fund, or put your money in a closed-end fund, maybe an ETF, and Wall Street will let you have 6 to 8%, and just ignore that they're stealing on the other side. Just go get 8%. They'll give that to you. They might make 20, 30, 50% a year criminally, but just go get your 8%. And I have to admit, I thought she made quite a bit of sense when she said that. I thought it was really smart. If Trump doesn't win, will it give naked shorting a license to continue? I'd say so. I'd say so. I think Kamala is a product. There was nothing democratic about how she was selected. Um, and I think the back office, probably led by Nancy Pelosi, but maybe Trump said Chuck Schumer. Maybe it was Chuck Schumer too. Um, that was funny. I thought the power families of the Democratic Party, the Clintons, the Pelosi's, the Obamas, the Bidens, and the Harrises. And it's funny how it played out because the Clintons just seemed to fade away. They didn't put up any fight. So Hillary, I thought it would be Hillary, but it wasn't Hillary. The Harrises seemed to have a lot more power than I ever thought. And the Bidens, I'm unclear. It seems like they supported Kamala. And the Obamas didn't surprise me. I never thought Michelle wanted to run. But what did surprise me is they came in, I guess because Kamala lies and tells the lie that she's black, which is very much similar to Barack Obama's lie about his background. Maybe. And then it's Pelosi. And I think it ended up being Pelosi being the most powerful. What was interesting to me, Pelosi had to choose between a woman and her nephew. Her nephew is Newsom. And she chose a woman. But I think at the end of the day, even though she's a drunk and is not Speaker of the House, I think Nancy Pelosi came out to be the kingmaker. That's how I see it. There's no competing. We're simply making a choice. I guess you're talking about the election. Yeah, we're trying to make a choice. It's pretty clear to me that Trump is going to win if it's a fair election, but I don't think it's going to be a fair election. But after the election, I'll never say it wasn't fair because I think they'll start putting people in prison who say it wasn't fair. They will, they say, Ann Wagner, that the head of the committee that oversees the regulation of Wall Street, the subcommittee, she's worried about all the data. Believe me, after this election, they will collect the data, your emails, your phone calls, these videos, your texts. If you say the election was stolen, if Kamala wins it, I think you run the risk of losing your house, losing your mortgage, losing your credit rating, not getting a promotion, not getting the job, bad credit score. Just shut up. Just quietly make your plans. You might have to move to the red states, and I think that'll happen. But please, if she becomes president, be aware that the security system in this country can listen to all phone calls, all emails. They may even be able to hear you in your home. And so Ann Wagner, when she votes against the CAT bill, the audited trail of trades, because it's a violation of privacy, it's so hypocritical. So when when Kamala wins, stop talking negatively. If you value your freedom and your future, be quiet about it. And you may have to move to a red, I don't know what they would call it. What would they call it? What would they call it? Wouldn't be the United States of America. Maybe they'd call it real United States, real United States of America. Maybe that'd be the new name, real United States of America. And then instead of USA, it would be RUSA. I don't know. Hey, thank you, David. All right, I'll do it. That's a date. That's a date. I like Gerald Clemente. Yeah, that's what Gerald says. He says, when people lose everything, they lose it. And he also says what you say, when all else fails, they'll take you to war. He's absolutely right. I went to his peace. I met him. I went to his peace rally. I heard Tulsi Gabbard speak. I like Gerald Celente a lot. And he's a little bit like I'm also. My mother was Italian, which is why I'm so tall. But he's obviously Italian, and I have a little bit of that in me. But he's much better. He's more established and much better known, of course. And I'm not competing than he, so he can get away with it more. But that's what he says. Pat Byrne is saying the fix is in. Kamala will win. Well, I'm going to go put this back up. I appreciate that. $50. David. They're putting enough information out there, and she's doing just enough. Like there's a picture of her going down to Texas, and there's 100,000 people in the audience. But they thought they were going to see a Beyonce performance. It doesn't matter. The picture will be there so that when they say she won, they can tell us that, well, if you don't believe it, it's a lot of people voted against that guy that grabs them by the yum-yum. So that's what it's going to boil down to. That's what it's going to boil down to. They didn't want Hitler, and they wanted this so-called thing, reproductive rights. What the hell is that? That doesn't sound like reproductive rights. That sounds, on its extreme, at the edge, it sounds like something else. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. It's a no-win conversation for a man. Hey, Lucky, I see you walking around. Well, oh, shoot. I was going to sell my one call come hell or high water by the end of the day. How did it close? Probably down. Lucky boy. I might have to sign back in. So the last price on that call is, just rounding it up, I lost half my money. No, that's wrong. The last price, so I paid $565 for one call. Really a stupid trade. And it closed at $430. So Monday, a lot of premium will come out, but I'm surprised all in. I would have thought they would have rallied the stock because who wants to take the risk that Trump wins? Because I could, my analysis, my doom and gloom could be wrong. And Trump, if, I don't think they have rigged in Virginia. I think Philadelphia is rigged. I think Detroit is rigged. I think Wisconsin is rigged. I think Stacey Abrams is rigged, and that guy has rigged Georgia. Arizona was stolen last time. It'll be stolen again. It's frightening. Anyway, I still have my call. We'll see what happens. I should have waited. I could have saved I could have saved $200. Almost. Go live with Ace. Ace will be great. I recommend everybody listen to Ace. And he's not a downer like I am. He thinks Trump's going to win. So go listen. That'd be good. I will go live, Darren. There'll be more than 3. I'll go live. Yeah, I think the naked shorting is, Brian, I think the naked shorting is going to continue. I'm reading this book, War, and there's no question that the Democratic Party, but a large part of the Republican Party and the entire defense establishment of the United States thinks Putin is a thug and a liar and a KGB type. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of people that have a lot of access to information and speak Russian and know what they're doing. Far be it for me to say something differently, but I don't see Putin that way. I mean, he's now an adversary, and he's a very good adversary, very talented. But my point on that is, I think there will be exchanges. Look, if you read this, Bob Woodward thinks SWIFT is God's gift to humankind, and that Russia can't come up with a competing system. Well, it sounds like they have. So the first thing you do is you create a competing payment system that's secure. Then you start down the road of creating a currency, and you start down a road of creating a bond market, a capital market, a Fed, maybe a treasury ahead of it, treasury secretary type. And you try to link, the EU didn't have a good luck at it, but you try to link some sort of bond market with all the countries. And that's where it's going to take a while. But anyway, you do that. So you get those 2 steps done. And as you're doing that, you start doing your trade in gold and in oil and assets, and you stop using the dollar. So as that's moving forward, what's the next step? You've got to create exchanges that are honest. They're already doing it in Shanghai, and I think in the Middle East, and I think in Moscow. They're already creating physical metals exchanges, commodities exchanges, where there will not be the paper destruction of prices, oil too. But I think you're going to find that Putin, that's who I think. But it could be South Korea, it could be Xi, it could be MBS in Saudi Arabia. But somebody is going to create an honest securities market, and the money will go there. And New York will lose its throne as the world's biggest financial. But luckily, we'll have women running it by then. NASDAQ was the world's greatest over-the-counter market. Now it's run by a woman, and it's a loser. And I pick on her because I believe the only reason she's there is because she's a woman. I think women can run things and do things, but not if you're just put there because you're a woman. Where'd you get your skills from? In the dating bars and at the football games as cheerleader? There's other skills you need. And just being put there because you're a chick. But I mean, if you saw that response to Mark Cuban, wow. Trump has a lot of powerful women and talented women around him. Really does. I can't answer it. I got to be careful. I can't answer it. What I can say, which is my opinion, there's no knowledge in it, but I think the stock price has to be higher in any of these stories. The price has to be higher than $2 or $3 before it has what you call a squeeze. Trying to think of any stock. Well, that Chinese one went from 2 to 44. I guess it happens. But my opinion is you have to see higher prices before a squeeze will happen. And I feel that way about Finger too. And that's a generic statement. That's not specific. So I feel comfortable saying it. Yeah, that's a good point, David. I think I should have waited. But I always got lucky in the draw. I always got lucky in the draw. I always overpay. I think you're right. I agree with you that Trump should speak out against shorting. Yeah, Brian, I agree. Thank you, Julie. You're the best. You're the best. Better than all the rest. Puppy dog. Susan, what happened today? Somebody warned me that when he starts, we can't walk very far anymore. Susan, I used to walk him all the way up. We would go miles and I couldn't wear him out. And we get to the park and he'd run and oh my gosh, now I can't even get down 2 blocks and he collapses and he can't walk. It's just, but a puppy is a good idea. Thank you, Red Pepper Ronnie. I do appreciate that advice. Yeah, I mean, even with Trump being president, they're going to continue doing it. You've got to get Patrick Burns in the office, and then you've got to hope that. I mean, if I went into if let's assume Patrick Burns is the head of the SEC. Let me picture myself being there. I would tell my attorneys out there, here's the cases, here's the guys, they're all men, here's the hedge funds, here, and you have unlimited ability to search. I would go to Congress to get the right to eavesdrop and to what's the word? Go get documents. But I would focus on one. And Ham might be right. Maybe it's Finger, Lynn Partners, Finger, and whoever their 4 hedge funds are. I would just pick one, make an example. That poor guy. Let me see if I can find it while I'm talking to you. It's not doing it for me, pal. That's not doing it. So I guess I got to go here. Let me just go here. What's his name? I just remembered his name. Let me see if I can find this. I had a video of it that was short, and unfortunately, I'm not going to find it. Well, let's use this first one. Let's use this first one. Skip. I'll go with. I won't make you watch the whole thing, but we'll watch a little bit of it.
On the run, Joseph Guzman, the Mexican drug lord, most popularly known as El Chapo, was captured and locked behind. How many people do you know who are as twisted as John? But another wild card, the and there is no way on earth. Age 13. General population is the least restrictive unit. All inmates within this unit are subject to 23-hour lockdowns, with just an hour of recess each day. They are also given phone call privileges. Notorious individuals criminals have been publicly thrown in Guadalajara, arrested in 1995 for possible, because guards are not allowed to interact with the inmates under any circumstances. But maybe we have this all wrong. Everyone knows that most through a rigorous vetting. ADX Florence, the way he staged his first. El Chapo spent 23 hours in solitary confinement in a.
Look at that. That's how he has to live. That's how he has to live. And why on earth did he decide to go into cocaine? All he had to do was to go into short selling, naked short selling. He would never have gone to prison. He'd be living on an island. He'd have all the chiquitas he wanted. It's unbelievable. Yeah, spin-off shares. Yeah. Richard's great. He'll do one this weekend, apparently. Yeah, I think they'll do a deal, Peter. I think they'll do a deal, but I'm not going to comment anymore. And I think you're lucky. There's good guys there working toward getting something done for GTII. I'm gonna leave it up there. You can read it. I'm just gonna be careful what I say anymore. Unbelievable. See, Marco, if you're still here, sorry it took so long to get to your message. The ask was 182. They do it at 181.99. That's so they can leave their ask there. They don't actually have. They don't want it to catch fire going up, and they want to make sure they can close it. And they're just moving shares amongst themselves. There is something about how I don't know. I don't know how big the ask was, but if the ask were when you put that order in, if it had been, I don't know, if 2 or 3, 4,000 shares, they didn't really want to sell. That was a spoof, so they did it underneath, and it's cheaper to essentially hit your bid than sell something from their offer. On the other hand, if it had been a small offer, or if it's a spoof and there's really only 100 shares offered there that are real, if they gave it to you or whatever your order was at the ask, and this is how it used to be, you could buy a stock at 182 and the next trade's at 197. That never happens anymore, ever. Ann Wagner wants to protect the criminals. She wants to protect Goldman Sachs, SAC, Vanguard, Citadel, BlackRock, State Street, and others. I can't remember. I'll get a list next time because I've got to choose my words carefully. I can't just say Goldman Sachs, because if I say that, people are going to assume I'm saying it's only Goldman Sachs. It's the whole bloody street that does this. Anybody with a prime broker, any pool of money who is giving outsized returns is doing it, with the possible exception of Berkshire Hathaway. Possible exception of Berkshire Hathaway. All right, let's go down here. Well, let me just say thank you again to this. For David, thank you. All right, so David is saying that the GTII call was worth listening to, and David's a longtime friend of the show. All right, let's see what the one said. Trento would buy 150 million shares of GTII. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Oh, we have a choice to be with me. Yeah. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. You can say that again. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. You can say that again. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but you can say that again. Trump will win. I like your drawing there. I like it. The wolf. I couldn't, that movie, Dances with Wolves, when they killed, oh God, I couldn't stand it. Bill Wong. I think everyone will snitch if they're caught. They'll all tumble. They only do it because they get away with it once. They figure they can do it again, and compliance is in on it, and lawyers are in on it. Now, let me be specific. The law firm of Richard and his daughter. Gosh, my brain. Anyway, there's a law firm that works just down the hall from the Kramer brothers. Nadich, I think. Nadich. I think it's Richard Nadich and Susan Nadich, something like that. Anyway, that law firm, Gibson Dunn, who represents the Kramers, the law firms like, I don't remember the name right now, who represented the DLK DSPAC, the law firms that represent Yorkville, anyway, when I say the lawyers, that's who I'm talking about. But they figure the lawyers protect them. The hedge funds got their back. No one's regulating it. It's a free good. Why not do it? And they laugh at you while they're doing it. They laugh at you. Now this guy is trying to get you distracted, but maybe not. He might have something, so we have to check it out, don't we? Poor guy. That scared me. I didn't know it was lucky, but something fell on me. Are you all right? Is the back door open? I'll go open it. Let me go open the back door for Lucky. It is open. It's open. I thought I left it open for him. All right, so let's try PNPNF. PNPNF. Didn't work. PNPNF. Oh, power nickel. Sorry, Mr. Tang Wu. You're right about that. That's one we talked about before. I'll try to get an interview with that guy. I don't have an answer to your question, though, but I'll try to get an interview with him. I liked him. I'd never met him, never talked to him, but I might have talked to him once. I liked his story. That's interesting, Brian. I put on one of the stocks that we followed. I put in high orders, and they canceled them all. I think they cancel them when it gets tight because they don't want the liability. Let's see how that would work. If the stock ran through your price and it was trading elsewhere, your broker dealer would. I see. That's the one thing where I'm having problem with this. I don't know if it would be the prime broker or your broker dealer. Someone would owe you that price, and maybe they don't want to take the risk if it's out of control, because it is possible the stock would be trading away from them. I don't think that the orders are in a central location per se. I mean, it's an electronic market. Everybody's trading off that same bid and ask. But I think if it gets out of control, it's at least conceivable that the trades are happening on someone else's desk, so to speak, rather than your broker's desk. And maybe they just don't want to take that liability. I don't know. That I'm just talking out loud. But I've had that happen to me as well. You can put in day orders, and you can just keep trying. Yeah, there is talk about another mining company, and there's talk about a couple of other companies. Yeah. All right, what time is it? 4:30. I had a list of things I was going to try to talk to you about. I wanted to talk about gold and silver, but I think I'll skip that. But maybe we can go through some of those charts and just see if anything stands out. I think I can talk about charts. Can I talk about charts without showing a bias one way or the other? Let's go with DJT. And let me see if you're seeing that. I don't even know if you're seeing it. Ah, good, you are seeing it. Let me take David off because I want to be able to show the chart. Take this advertisement off. All right, so here's DJT. Let me use this annotate. I don't know how to use this pencil. I don't know how to get rid of this annoying thing over here. I'd like to just move it, but I don't know how to make it smaller. I really don't. So anyway, it's there. So I can only draw lines. I can't draw, but right here was a gap, which obviously had to be filled on the way down. And oddly, over here is the bottom of a gap, which clearly had to be filled, even though it was filled there. Anyway, so it dropped down to, there's a gap over here, kind of dropped down to It's not quite finished dropping, probably. Let me just make sure that's a good, I mean, that's a reasonable line. You could draw your line up. You do it up here. Do it at the bottom of this. Now I'm going to go down with the top of that gap and those tops. So it could go lower Monday morning. I would guess it could go all the way down to 22.92, which is the 200-day moving average. But that's one way to look at it. Another way is it right here. It broke through the 50-day moving average, so it came a little lower. This little gap here, yeah, and this could be support where it is right now, and it bounced off right in here. I think this stock is more likely to go up on Monday than down, unless they know something. And I would use this little gap here as the first target, so maybe $41. And then I'd say 55. And I still say this can break out. This would be a pretty good target here, 57.50. Highly volatile. And the all-time high, which I don't think is a target, I don't think that's a first target, but might as well use it, $80. I think this would be an intermediate target right here, around 71. So is it going to go down like it did over here? And that's going to happen here. Where would it stop? In here? I don't know. I don't think so. But I guess that's the risk. Or is it going to go on Monday? Maybe they try to get it down under 30. And it goes down, and it goes up, and gets to 50, 52, pulls back, 57, pulls back, hits 70, pulls back, hits 80, pulls back, and then it goes up. I don't know. That's what I think is going to happen. How's that for a professional chartist? All right, let me look at the other ones. Let's look at Dr. Wu's, I can't remember the stock symbol, PNPNF. PNPNF. Power nickel. On the nickel over there. What becomes of the little boys? Very interesting, Dr. Wu. I think Dr. Wu is on to something. It's here. Let me annotate this, annodate this high here. It broke through. here and went up. And then it came back to test that because that became support. And it went up and came back to test it again. And now it's up. And the moving averages have gone up with it. And I think the Dr. Wu is showing you something here that really could break out. Let's look at it on I don't know, a 1 year. Hey, lucky boy, I know you want to go outside, but life isn't always about going outside. Doctor, I'm kind of forcing this line to fit what I want it to fit. Same there. But I think this power nickel looks good. Look, these are my lines. Avid will have different lines, or Arca. But I think this is the all-time high, at least for 5 years. It did all this downing, and now if my line is too shallow, the point is still there. It's come back to this trend line once. It opened above that and then pulled back. And then it's just hit this trend line over and over and over and over again. And then it popped its head up and they got it back down to, again, my line, got it back down to the lower trend line. And by definition, if the concept of my pennant is anywhere near correct, they're going to run out of time here. I mean, it's here. Let me just show you. If you have a triangle and you're trading in the middle of it, by definition, you're going to break one of those trend lines, either to the upside or to the downside. And I think that's about to happen. And to me, it looks like it's going to be to the upside. How high could it go? I have no idea. But I think Dr. Wu has a very keen eye. I think power nickel looks good. How's that? All right, let's look at, I can look at these charts. I just can't comment on the stock. I can look at the charts. Nah, that's not it. It's probably down here. So how about right here? That's probably good. I do think that's support. You could go down to 242 just because it's a trend line and the computers do that. I suppose in a spike they could come all the way down to $2 if there's a sell-off. But I would say this looks like it's going to head here, 350. $550. $750. remember this one to me just has this tremendous baseline. It's just been going up for months. However you want to draw it. I just draw that line in the middle of it to show you. That is strong support in this stock. And it was, you could draw a line up above here. I don't know where, here maybe. Right, I'm not going to spend time making it accurate, but that became resistance. So you've got it trading in and out. Obviously, I'm wrong because I'm missing some in the back. But my point is that upper end will become support at some time. It's not quite there to being support, but it will be. And of course, you can do a horizontal line across here too. All right, let's move on to I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Swell. Best news I've heard all day. That hurts your feelings that you're not everybody's cup of tea. That's how I see this one. Off the top of my head, this is how, I don't know how to draw this. I'd say like this, something like that. That's how I see this one. What does that mean? By the way, this is GDC. I'm not commenting on the company, just looking at the chart. I think that sets up for the way I do it, which you should listen to Arca or somebody else. But the way I do it, you could count it all the way from up here, but let's just do it from here on this outside edge. 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square, 5.5. You literally could start up here and make it more. So I would go 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square, 5.5 would be my, if it broke out, that'd be my first target. How's that for an analysis? And obviously 550 is a pretty clear level. But anyway, it's going to break out at some point, and it's going to go up, just going by the charts, it's going to go up much more quickly than it came down. I don't know if I can show you that in its past history. I can't, except here. Look at here. It went up like a son bitch. And I think it'll go up like a son bitch again if it breaks above the upper trend line. That's GDC. I think it looks cheap. What's the downside risk? Obviously, $1 or down here, 50 cents. I don't think it'll happen, but it could. I think your support is something like what I drew, but if it breaks that, look out below. So why don't you just say if you pay $1.50, you could lose it all if you can't wait. But in return for that risk, you can triple your money on the first move. I don't think it'll go that low at all. Maybe your risk is 25 cents, 50 cents, and then it'll take time to rebuild. But if what I've drawn is correct, and the breakout will come to the upside, and you can make 3 times on your money on the easy part of the move. What else? Finger. That one ain't pretty. All right, so this is finger motion. And sure enough, They came down in here. And when I draw lines, I use fat fingers. In other words, I could be off a little bit, but I think it's clearly come down to its support. But there's not a lot of support here. So where else could it go? It could go down. I'm just talking about risk. It could come down in that range. Something in that range. Last time it came down to here, however, it bounced right back up. So I think you're getting to the point where the rubber band is stretched just about as low as it can go. But I would say your risk, I would use that line, maybe $1.75. So maybe that's your risk to the downside. Let me clear this off if I can. I don't know how to clear it. Okay. That's the risk, looking at the risk. What do I see here? I guess I was totally wrong that it was going to go to 260. That's really what I thought. See, I thought it had this angle here, and it didn't, something like that. And it broke out. I was wrong. Although I guess if you take a line here, it made it to the bottom. Still doesn't matter. I was wrong. I was wrong. As a short-term trade, I was wrong. So what is it now? This becomes resistance in here. It also becomes where it could break out. And here, which, that's pretty good. That's in line with the 200-day moving average. So if it breaks above 245, that could be fun. I don't know. I don't see it. It's beyond my ability to chart. I don't see a clear pattern there, but I don't think you have much downside, and it won't take much to give a catalyst to that stock. Let's look at Northwest Bio. All right, Lucky, we're about ready to go. That looks horrible. The best thing I can say about this is it can only go this much lower because that's the bottom of the page. That just looks horrible. Broke through there. Breaks through here. I would put this one in the category. This is Northwest Bio. I would put this in the category that it just looks awful and everybody's given up. I hate that there's all this volume. Look at all this volume all through here. All this volume. It just looks terrible. I would stick by. I think it's cheap. You can lose all your money you put up, but I don't think it's a tradable stock. I really don't. It just looked, to me, it just looks horrible. However, I would trust the guy who's hearing things, because what's going on with Northwest Bio, if they get their approval, I forget what their therapy is, if it's for brain cancer or something, I can't remember. If it works, there's going to be huge revenue streams. And I think the company's going to be purchased. So all this shorting that's going on, and they're all playing cats, and it's like a bunch of cats having a hissy fight in the living room, and in's going to come a Great Dane and a German Shepherd, and they're just going to take the ball or the mouse, and they'll bid on it at $80 or $50, and they'll just buy the company. That's the exit I see. So I would see Northwest Bio as something you can accumulate and hope lightning strikes. I don't really see how you trade this unless someday it breaks above 30 cents or 40. I don't know. It looks tedious. All right, what other ones? That's it, I think. Well, let's look at CAUD. This is amazing to me. When they shorted it all the way down, it looks to 15 cents because they had Peter Board's trapped. They figured he's going to do a reverse split. I think it took balls and courage and a steel spine to tell them to go screw themselves. And he allowed his company to go onto the over-the-counter market. And look, the stock has gone from 15 cents. It was as high as $1. It's pulled back 72 cents. It's above all moving averages. I got to tell you, I don't see anything to tell you. Well, there's one thing I can see. I would say that's your next target, is 2 smackers, somewhere around 2 smackers. It'll stall here, maybe. But I think it's going to go to 2. And if it breaks through 2, goodbye shorties. I would say that we have to say kudos to Peter Boards. Good job. I think this thing is going to go up. That's collective audience, and I have to put a call, a congratulations out to Peter Boards. All right. Knowing that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, I think I'll sign off. I heard the CEO. Yeah, he does hate the shorts. So let me go up and give credit to Dr. Wu again, because Mr. Wu, Mr. Tang Wu. I think that was a really good call. Let's keep talking about that one, and I'll try to get an interview with the CEO. All right, Red Pepperoni. I'm sorry I let down so much people. I'm sorry I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But nobody loves me but my mother. And sometimes I think she's jiving too. Isn't that a song? Yeah.
Nobody loves me but my mother. And she could be jiving too. Hey, nobody loves me but my mother. And she could be jiving too. So now you know why I act funny with you, baby. Oh, when you do the thing you do.
We love that. How's that?
How's that? Nobody loves you. But I saw a poll. I don't buy that. Aaron, I don't buy that. I really don't buy that. I suppose it's I suppose that's possible. Jill Stein at 33% in North Carolina. On the face of it, it doesn't make any sense. But this is what's going to happen. They're going to blame it on third party. They're going to blame women can't vote for Trump because he grabs women without their permission by their private parts. And he's a racist. It's just going to be endless. Guys, I think we got to get ready for Kamala Harris. People are tired of establishment politics. Do you really think Jill Stein is doing that well in North Carolina? CNN, Harris and Trump neck to neck. USA Today, similar. Early voting breaks record in North Carolina. Forbes, Georgia, North Carolina, razor thin. See, they're going to take it. Forbes, no clear leader in North Carolina. Let's see what Forbes said. That's the New York Times. Or is that the Athletic? That's the Athletic. So it's Forbes. Vice President Kamala Harris is vying to become the only the second Democratic presidential candidate to win North Carolina in more than 40 years. She's worked hard for it too, boy. I mean, she's there constantly. Okay, 2 news surveys. Harris is ahead on CNN, 48%. In Fox Noise, it's 49% Trump. Trump leads in North Carolina in a cooperative election study, 50 to 48%. In a Marist poll in Emerson, Trump leads 50% to 48%. Bloomberg, Trump leads 49.6 to 48.5. Washington Post says Trump is ahead 50% to 47%. Quinnipiac says that Harris is ahead 49-47. Wall Street Journal has Trump ahead 46-45. 538 says Trump is up 1.2 points in North Carolina with a polling average. The Cook Political Report moved North Carolina from lean Republican to toss-up in August. If Harris wins North Carolina, she has a 90% chance of winning the election. North Carolina has only voted for one Democratic presidential candidate since 1990, Barack Obama, in 2008. What to watch for? Lieutenant Mark Robinson could hurt Trump's chances in North Carolina. Robinson is trailing Stein by 17 points. Robinson. Hello. It's good. I just was about to hang up. You can talk to people one more time if you want. I'm still on. I'm literally was about to hang up until somebody told me that Jill Stein has 30% of the vote in North Carolina, and I couldn't believe it, so I had to look it up. She's independent. There's no way, but they're saying Kamala is going to win North Carolina. I can't believe that. Yeah. Unbelievable. They just keep. It's unbelievable. I believe you. Have a fun time at the party. Bye. He was just saying the last trade in finger is a cross, and he posted it. And it sounds like the GTII call was great. Jill Stein has 40% of the Muslim vote in Michigan. Harris campaigned threw them under the bus because of Gaza. So Jill is going after the anti-genocide vote. Harris screwed up. That's the problem. Where is the Muslim vote going to go? To Trump? Trump's very likely to support Netanyahu. What's happening in Gaza is genocide. It's worse than genocide. Well, what's worse than genocide? But they're eradicating an entire population. It's not as big as what happened in the 40s. It'll be 2.5 million people, but that's if you just count it then. If you take it back further, it's frightening. And to be clear, because I've got to use my words clearly, I blame this entirely on Benjamin Netanyahu. And I'm not questioning anything beyond his criminal activity. All right, I'm going to sign off. Wish everybody a happy weekend. I doubt we'll be speaking before Monday. And peace to everyone. And maybe I will go. I think I will go on election night. I won't be able to resist it. Be fun if somebody could come on and do the commentary, and I didn't have to do it all. All right, talk to you later. Bye.